Hey Eric, welcome to the 2019 OEC golf event. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing. We'll let that play on through, put you back in your dress position, and we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you here in your setup looks excellent. We can see that your spine is straight on a slight tilt, legs come down into a nicely unlocked position, arms hang down off the tilted spine, and the club works out to the golf ball. So very nice angles, also in association with excellent balance, so it looks really, really good. Other thing we want to observe from this vantage point is your alignment. We can see your feet aiming in this direction. We carry that out towards the fairway. Now theoretically, club face is supposed to run parallel to your feet. Parallel lines on camera would have an appearance of converging, so we're sort of set up down the right side of the fairway. Let's go ahead and do a little split screen comparison here between you and Jordan Spieth. Now we've got some color-coded lines here up on the screen just to use as a visual reference as it pertains to swing plane. We can see with Jordan, he initiates his takeaway by creating good shoulder rotation, drawing the arms and hands back as well as the club, and we see the club coming back on plane directly along the red line. From this standpoint here, he's going to continue with good shoulder rotation. He's going to start to establish good wrist hinge into play, which is going to allow the club to transition from below our hands to now above our hands. And then we're going to work the club from red up towards yellow or blue. We finally set the club at the top of the backswing with the left arm of the club on the yellow line or the blue line or somewhere within that blue-yellow V zone. In Jordan's case, he sets his left arm of the club on the blue line, so he has a slightly steeper set position. With you, we watch you initiate your takeaway, and what we see is that you push your hands out away from your core. So one of the things you want to do is definitely learn how to let your hands, arms, and club maybe swing a little bit more inside to initiate the takeaway. From here, we continue to rotate, start to get some wrist hinge into play, and working that golf club to the top, you start to shallow things out a little for that compensation that you pushed your hands out. When we finally set the hands and arms at the top of the backswing, we can see that you turn your shoulders very nicely, stable right side, but we get a little bit of excess run-on in the top of your backswing, whereby your right forearm is kissing your bicep and your whole right arm is working in behind your rib cage too much. So we get a little bit of compression in the arms and a little bit of an overswing at the top here. As we create our transition back into the ball, simply want to move our weight from our right foot to our left foot. We want to fire the knees and the hips to the target, unwind our core and fire our hands. And in doing so, we need to make sure that we're bringing the golf club from that blue-yellow V zone back down on top of red, and that's exactly what we see here with Jordan Spieth. The golf club is returning right back to being on plane. The other thing we want to point out at this stage of the golf swing is a relationship between the lead forearm and the golf club. Refer to this as the backwards check mark. Simply means the club head's remaining above and behind his hands coming into the hitting zone. This is what's going to allow us to create a lot of power in our golf swing, let alone getting the club to return back to plane, as we already pointed out, which is also going to allow us to hit the ball straight. With your transition back into the ball, good drop in the hands and arms. You reroute the club back inside. That's very nicely done. So at this point in time, what we can see is you do have a resemblance here of your backwards check mark. So here's your lead forearm, and there's your golf club. So the club head is remaining above and behind the hand, so you'll be able to create a little bit of power in the golf swing. You're not retaining as much angle as you should, but at least there is some angle there. The other great thing is that we've got the golf club. We're returning back towards plane, so that's good. You haven't sent the golf club out in front of you too far, and therefore you won't be attacking the ball too far from outside to inside. If we go ahead and just track this club coming into the ball, let's go to the next frame. Yeah, so it falls there. So if we were to connect the dots, your club was falling back into the golf ball as such. It doesn't return back to plane as early as it does with Jordan Spieth, as we see over here. His club returned back to plane at this stage of the golf swing and then continues to track into the golf ball directly from that red line. So you do return back to the red line a little later, so therefore it might be just attacking the ball ever so slightly from the outside, but looks pretty good considering where you were in your set position. At this point in time, we can sort of take a look at the pass of the club. We can see with Jordan, his club is slightly more inside the ball than yours. It then expands out to make contact, moves through on a nice natural subtle arc. Your club is a little bit more directly behind the ball because it didn't return back to plane early enough, then drops down and across. So you are moving a little bit from out to in on that golf ball. And obviously what will happen is, depending on what you do with that club face, will dictate what happens at golf ball. So if we over release the club, the ball will head out in a good direction. Obviously, because you're attacking the ball a little bit from out to in, and the fact that you're aimed a little bit out to the right, you may have the ability to sort of pull that ball back on line, which is obviously the compensation there due to the fact that you're aimed just a little too far out to the right. So again, we'd stipulated that your feet were aimed here, your target line was a little bit out to the right here, your path is a little out to in, so hopefully you have the ability to sort of pull that ball back towards that blue flag. If you over release the club, you may draw it a little bit too severely, and if you under release the club, you may fade it a little bit too much as well. So it just really comes down to the timing of the club face. If you over release it, it's going to go too far left. Under release is going to go too far right. And if you time it okay, golf shot's going to turn out for you for sure. As you come through, you got good footwork, traveling through to a really good finishing position. Looks great right there. See a lot of similar characteristics as we do with the left side of the screen, and Jordan Spieth swinging through to a finish. So that looks really, really good. Overall, you got some really good athletic characteristics to your golf swing. I like how your hands work. Your hands come back and they fire through really, really nice. Your core works well. You coil back, you uncoil through. You get yourself through to a good finish position because you have good footwork. You know, backswing again compresses on you with your arms, and then the downswing just comes ever so slightly over the top, and you attack the ball just a little bit from outside to inside. Again, you're trying to compensate by trying to pull the ball back on line due to the fact that your alignment's a little out to the right. So 3 things we need to be super consistent and hit a straight golf ball. We have to aim well, have a great downswing plane, and have a good grip to square the face up. Again, you're ever so slightly aimed out to the right. You're ever so slightly coming over the top, trying to pull the ball back on line. So those subtle 2 things right there are going to cause you to have a little bit of inconsistencies in your golf game. But overall, really nice athleticism. If you could master that alignment, master your downswing plane, you could become a little bit more of a consistent ball striker for sure. Anyways, at any point in time you ever want to work on these things, I'm over at Glen Abbey in Oakville where the event was held. Be happy to structure a program for you. Also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments and looking for a unique gift to provide to the guests, certainly feel free to reach out. All my contact information is at the end of the video. It was also on the screen during a part of this analysis, so you can easily contact me through that email. Anyways, I hope you had a great day. Hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video, and hope you had a great summer, and hope you have a great fall.